So they incorporate any changes and revisions that the board had directed. And the constable is here this evening to attest the signatures. I would ask you to recommend.
Is there anything significant from what we reviewed?
No. Keep in mind, this is the posting warrant. The posting warrant does not include the detailed descriptions.
Mr. Prisco?
Mr. Chairman, I move to sign the June 4th, 2012 annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you.
Sir?
Free act indeed, John. All right.
Whoever signed it, why don't you read the next motion? Mr. Prisco?
Mr. Chairman, I move to sign the June 4th, 2012 special town meeting warrant.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Minutes.
It's about as warm as this room has been, and
It's not that cold, just for some reason my hands are cold tonight.
It was good idea to take, open up all the...
oh, we opened up everything in here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Excellent.
Next item on our agenda, legal bills for March. Mr. Valentinis.
Board members, I would recommend your approval. You have a breakdown of the March legal bills, and you'll note the cost distribution that town council has provided.
Supposed to be in the minutes, but-
Majority of the costs are related to town meeting and general government services. Town meeting costs were $1,314. I've reviewed the bill. I would recommend that you so approve it.
Just a
Mr.
question. I can ask a question after we read the motion.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills for March 12th, 2012. I'm sorry. Legal bills for March 2012 in the amount of $8,213.73 as follows. Copeland and Page PC General, $4,301.73. Copeland and Page PC Labor, $918. Copeland and Page PC Water, $1,332. West, $1,662 for a total of $8,213.73.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion? Mr. Prisco.
In regards to water, Greg, when I read it, it's so hard for me to read it, I apologize, so a couple of questions. It looks like our council talked with Andover's council.
Yes.
So are we done? Is it completed, signed?
I've asked the two attorneys need to reconcile the differences. The final document will be before you for approval. So we still need to get sign off on the two respective attorneys to get this thing done.
And we're not meeting with Andover
No.
anymore?
No, we're not.
We're done.
It's in the hands of the two attorneys. Greg Corbo is our attorney.
Is there a timeline, you think?
As soon as we get through our moderating conference, I have said that we want to get this thing on the document yet. So hopefully it'll come before the new board at its next meeting.
For approval or consideration?
Consideration. Consideration first, approval second.
Okay. Without getting into the specifics, are we close to where we hope to be?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Good.
We just have to take the vote.
Right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? We skipped over the minutes of April 23rd, 2012 regular session. and executive session. Mr. Prisco.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the April 23rd, 2012 regular meeting minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
I know I said this earlier, but I want to say again, you did a really nice job in the minutes. They look really good.
Absolutely, I want to encourage you to continue to take our minutes. Be here for a long
Me
time.
too.
The second time in a row we haven't had a go.
And not to mention that we've adjourned at a fairly reasonable hour as a result of it being here.
Not the first night.
Not the first. That was your indoctrination.
We had to do that. That's what we have to do.
Meeting with the number of
Okay,
motions.
Mr. Prisco, the executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move to
23rd.
approve April 23rd, 2012 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Anyone here for public comment? Moving right along. Proclamation for Raya's store. Mark, you... Well, you might you might tell the board about why, and we'll vote on the proclamation.
Well, we don't look it, but we've been doing this for 100 years now. Thank you. I actually don't know why we're getting an award. I guess, I assume it's because it's 100th year that the store's been open, and anyone that in the last 100 years gets some kind of an award. I really don't know. But we both appreciate it. Christine and I have, and others, many others actually have worked so hard at it. And it's not as easy as it looks, but we enjoy it still. So,
For those of us, Mr. Chairman, that have grown up in town and grown up with Raya's store, I mean, Raya's has been and now continues to be, thanks to Mark's efforts and Christine and everybody else is working for him now, to be a fixture of the community. And, for years it was a gathering place, a meeting place, a place where decisions were made and debates were had, and candy was purchased, and I mean, a lot of kids got a lot of first cavities as a result of Raya's store, along with their first table talk pies and a few other things. And
Steve is talking about himself.
yeah, I am talking about myself. I mean, I'm going to be 58, so it's
well,
long before me.
what he said. But no, really, Rise is definitely a part of town, and that's why we feel strongly it's now more than ever. It's come alive again since Christine's been there, and we took it over in 2002. Not a lot of people know that we ran that old store for about 5 years till we built the new one, realizing that there's no way you could keep that old store. It was just run down, unsafe, no handicapped accessibility. So what we thought, I'll tell you a little story. Bill called me, his realtor called me and said, Bill wants to sell you the store. And I knew Bill from riding down on my bicycle as a kid for many years, but he never really acknowledged me until we were adults. And so through his realtor, offered me to buy the store, offered it to me first. And I said no. I'm a builder. I don't really want to. I'd have to tear the place down. That's exactly what I said, and build something on it. I don't want to be the person that does that. So then I hung up, and a week later he came back at $100,000 less, and he threw in the inventory. So more out of respect for Bill than anything else, I said, okay, I'll take it, not knowing what I'm going to do with it. So I took it just for the small town. Honeydew Donuts, I guess, was after it. And I couldn't bear to see that in the center of town. So I said, I'll take it. And so it's become a new life, especially since Christine took over. My aunt ran it for a short time after I purchased it as a store. And Christine came jogging by one day and says, I can run that store for you. And my aunt had already had enough, so I said, it's all yours, do what you want, you know, so she decorated it with flowers and antique cots and everything, and it just became a new life and built up the clientele they used to have. Maybe not as much as it used to have in the 50s and 60s when they sold cigarettes. There's a lot of cigarettes and stuff, but it was a lively place again. So we decided after that okay, now it's worth investing in this corner, and we want to duplicate what we've already got, but in a new facility. So that's why we have got the antique feel of the building, even though it's new. Some people, if they ever come in and didn't know it, they'd figure it was old. So the charm we didn't want to lose. We figured we get the charm back. So on it goes for another 100 years, hopefully.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Mr. Delaney.
Mark, I like how you found the ability to not only preserve but enhance the store in that corner of town. I, for one, very much appreciate that. And the work that your son has done up to this date on the old rye is just wonderful. So I'm looking forward to the completion of that as well, and another 100 years of that building being behind, or wherever it's going to be, if that's not the permanent place. But I compliment you and also Christina the way she runs that store. So,
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'd just like to say that, it's been a great honor to work in something that has been there 100 years, and that the fact of the matter is there's only been 2 families that have owned it in the 100 years, and I think that's an amazing feat these days. And for the last, 10 years that I've been there, and it has flown by 10 years, that it's been, truly something that I never thought that I would be part of when I first joined North Reading, but have truly embraced in the last 10 years and become more than just a job. It's more because of its situation, of it being something that's been 100 years. It's been on that corner for 100 years. It's been part of the town. It has a lot more to it than just a store. It has a beating heart that you cannot, find in other places. And I think that heart continues with the efforts of Mark, holding on to it, doing the right thing. And it will continue because he has a young family. It will continue in another whole family down the road for another 100 years, I should imagine, long past when we're around. And I thank you guys for taking this opportunity to say welcome, the 100 years, and on go the next 100 years.
Thank you.
Well said.
Did you write that speech? You didn't tell me that. That was perfect.
Mr. Yule.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
So I can't follow up as good of a speech as that, but I think when you look at Ryers, there's a pride factor in the community. It sits in the center of town. It reflects country. It reflects hominess and so on. So it's the pride factor that when everybody knows Ryers, and it continues. It's, as you said, it's a part of our town. I think also that's what's important is I don't think Ryers would be there if it were not for Mark Hall. I think it would have been gone. As you said, there was...
No one else
Crispy.
would be stupid enough, I guarantee.
Okay,
That's
so
what he said.
I appreciate your stupidity in this case because it's iconic for the community where it is. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Prisco.
I just want to say one quick thing, because I know I got the opportunity to thank you during the time we had the zip trip, but I want to do it publicly again, because, I talk to people now, even outside of North Reading, and, that zip trip was pretty amazing for the town. But when you talk to people outside that saw it, and you go back and you look at it, and when you look at the pictures of downtown, and they scan over and they see how beautiful Riot's store is, and then they saw the wonderful food and everything you laid out that day, it really represented the town so well. It actually showed that we still have a feel of 100 years ago. And so I really want to thank you, because I know that was a significant investment and a significant amount of time that you and your staff put into that. So thank you for that, because it did contribute to making the town look wonderful. And it really does make us look wonderful even now. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bob, just one more thing, as far as, Bill Ryer's vision and desire, again, Bill could have sold it to someone else and something else could have gone there, and he didn't want that to happen. And he picked the right guy. I mean, Mark Hall, anybody who's had to do work for him, he takes pride in his